Edinburgh has it all: a castle, a royal palace, underground streets, and one of the most dramatic skylines in Europe. Doug and I have been there enough times to know exactly what's worth your time, and today we're sharing our top 12.
Welcome to the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is the founder of the UK Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy shares destination guides, travel tips and itinerary ideas, as well as interviews with a variety of guests who share their knowledge and experience of UK travel to help you plan your perfect UK vacation. Join us as we explore the UK from cosmopolitan cities to quaint villages, from historic castles to beautiful islands, and from the picturesque countryside to seaside towns.
Before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting, and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour Tours. They offer walking tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour Tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes. Now let's get into this week's episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. I'm Tracy Collins, the host of UK Travel Planning. I'm joined again this week by Doug, my husband.
Hello there, hello.
And UK train travel expert. Yeah. So any question about trains, that's where Doug comes in.
That's my thing.
But Doug and I are travelling around the UK at the moment. In fact, we're actually in Inverness.
We are.
We just arrived in Inverness today from Edinburgh.
By train.
By train, of course, from Edinburgh. So
yes.
It's a great topic that we're covering today, isn't it?
Yes, that's actually right, yes.
It is. Edinburgh is somewhere we get asked a lot about, and it's even more special because we've just been down there for 5 days.
Yep.
I mean, that was actually my second visit in less than a month, because I was there in May as well for 4 days.
Yep.
Edinburgh is somewhere that always ends up on our itinerary, isn't it?
Always does. We've visited so many times between us.
Absolutely. And at the moment, you're busy recording videos to show people about how to get around Scotland by train.
That's right. We recorded a video today. We travelled up from Edinburgh to Inverness on the coastal route via Dundee and Aberdeen.
Yep, so that will become to YouTube soon.
It certainly will.
Give us a follow on UK Travel Plan on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that. Now, our attention is going to focus back to Edinburgh, which I already missed, even though I just left it this morning.
That's very true. Yes, that's very true.
I do love Edinburgh. I think it is probably my favourite British city.
Yeah.
That might change in a month's time. I don't know. I
right.
do change, but I do love Edinburgh. Yeah. And it is a city that we get asked about all the time. And for good reason. We know that, it's somewhere that you want to visit.
It is. It has a real draw to it.
It really does. Yeah. I mean, it's stunningly pretty. It's historic. It's dramatic. But it can be a little overwhelming, I think, for people when they come to planning to visit Edinburgh, because it's trying to choose what to see and what to do.
That's very true.
Especially if you've got kind of a short period of time there. So we're going to cut through all of that, all of your concerns and thoughts and worries about visiting Edinburgh when it comes to what do I do, because there's so much. And we're going to pick our 12 things to see and do and experience.
We have talked about this and we've come up with these 12, haven't we?
Yeah, so I was going to do 10 and I couldn't. We had to do 12 because there is a lot to do. Now, I will say before we dive into this that if you're visiting during the Edinburgh Fringe, the Tattoo or Hogmanay, the city is going to look and feel very different from what we described today.
Absolutely
because
true.
Those are pretty incredible events, but then they come with crowds. A lot of crowds, like millions of people, higher prices, and a bit of a different vibe and energy in Edinburgh. Yeah. Now, if you're planning to visit Edinburgh for a few days, maybe you're using it as a base to then go and travel through more of Scotland. Maybe you're doing a kind of London, York, Edinburgh kind of itinerary. We thought, this episode will give you some really good ideas about what to do, our top things. Now, I will say as well that you're not going to fit all these 12 things into 2 days. So I would think of this episode and what we'll talk about is a bit of a menu. So pick what suits your interests and your schedule. If you do want help narrowing it down for your specific trip, we do offer itinerary consultations.
That's right. Yep.
So we can offer it in two ways. You can book us and do a one-to-one consult with us, or if you put your itinerary together and you kind of want us to have put some eyes on it and give you some hints and tips and sort of answer some questions, things you're not sure about, we also offer an itinerary review where you will get a video where we'll talk.
That's right, and we also have the option for train consults. So if you're wondering how to get to Edinburgh, I can help you out with that as well.
Absolutely. And we know a lot of you these days are kind of turning to AI to put your itineraries together. But actually, there's nothing better than kind of human experience.
Absolutely
and
true.
That's what we're sharing today.
Yep.
I have been visiting Edinburgh since I was a child. So it's just, and you've been going for a long, long time as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So this is based on not just a few years of history,
No,
but
it's in the making.
but a lot.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start with number one. So first choice had to be Edinburgh Castle.
I was going to say, it can't be anything else, can it, in Edinburgh? Really,
no, I mean, you can't really miss it. It sits at the top of the Royal Mile basically on an ancient volcanic rock, and it basically dominates the skyline.
It really does, doesn't it?
You can't really miss it. And it is actually the most visited paid attraction in Scotland.
I can believe that.
Yeah. So what you'll find in there, you're going to find Scottish crown jewels.
Yep.
They're probably the oldest crown jewels in the British Isles.
So they say.
Mm-hmm. You're going to find the Great Hall, which is very, very nice to see.
Which is impressive.
There's a Scottish National War Memorial as well, apparently.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
There's lots of things to do and see up there. I would say a couple of hours to go and see.
Yeah, probably about 2 hours. Actually, a little bit more if you want to go in the most excellent little tea room they have there as well.
They do a very nice afternoon tea.
I have tried the cake, I have to confess. Yes.
And you will actually also find Edinburgh Castle. Not only will you get a great view, because it's worth going over there for the view, because you do get an excellent sight over Edinburgh as well. But it is also the site of the oldest surviving structure in Edinburgh, which is St Margaret's Chapel, which was built around 1130. Can you believe that? 1130.
That's right, yeah.
By King David I to honour his mother, Queen Margaret. Now, so you can go and have a look in Queen Margaret's Chapel if you want to go.
It's really impressive.
So I would absolutely recommend that you go and see Edinburgh Castle, 100%. And now, a few practical things, though, and we have heard this from people.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you book your tickets in advance.
You really do.
People go to Edinburgh and they want to go and see Edinburgh Castle. So if you leave it to the day, chances are you're not going to get a ticket. And it does get particularly busy in summer.
That's right. I mean, it's the most important thing you want to see in Edinburgh. Book your visits around the most important thing. And if that's the castle, get that booked. Get your ticket booked.
Yeah, absolutely. Wear comfortable shoes as well, because there's going to be some walking and some steep sections that you're going to have to walk up.
That's not just applied to the castle. That's, other parts of Edinburgh as well.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, talking about the Royal Mile, which we're going to talk about next, as point 2, is actually you're going to walk up the Royal Mile to get up to Edinburgh Castle. It is at the top of that Royal Mile, and that's quite a walk, steep walk up the hill. Now, if mobility is a concern or for your consideration, you can get taxi and a bus that'll take you right up to the right up to the top. I have to say, not get you close, but not right up to the top, because that final approach you have to walk up.
That's right.
But I know it's mentioned in the episode that we did with Laura and April about accessibility, because she went to Edinburgh Castle. So if you're planning to visit that, you can take a listen to that episode with Laura, because she did a lot of research before her trip.
She did.
Number 2, we can't talk about Edinburgh without talking about the Royal Mile.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
Now that's a historic spine of Edinburgh's old town, which runs from the castle all the way down to Holyrood House, which we're going to get to in a minute.
It's a little bit more than a mile, isn't it?
It is actually a little bit more than a mile
and a quarter.
Something like that. So it is one long street, and it's just packed with history. There's lots of shops, there's lots of cafes, there's lots of pubs. You're going to find somebody playing bagpipes, guaranteed. You're going to find at least one person playing bagpipes on the Royal Mile. That's right. It's a wonderful street to walk up.
It's a good vibe.
It really is. And off the Royal Mile, you'll find closes, courts, and you'll find wynds, which are narrow lanes and alleys, which run off on either side. Just a quick pause to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting, and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour tours. They offer walking tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes.
Yep.
And that's where you're going to get the real character of the old town. Some of the closes, like Flesh Market, great name, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
Advocates, now where you'll get a great view of the Scots Monument. And of course, we're going to talk about next, actually, is Mary King's Close, which we'll talk about in point 3. So I took, a few years ago, I actually took a historical tour of the Royal Mile. Oh my goodness, it was absolutely fantastic, because there's so much history packed onto that Royal Mile. Now, we haven't, in this episode, we're not going to talk about the old and the new city and a little bit about that, because we have got other podcasts where we kind of talk about how the old city and then the new city developed. One thing I do want to mention as well is that we do have an article on the website. Again, uktravelplanning.com. Please use our website. We're finding it's just not showing up on AI and Google these days. So we really would, be very supportive if you'd go and look at our articles. So we have got an article all about the Royal Mile.
Yeah.
So I'll link to that. Also want to say as well, this is kind of harking back to an episode we did in April where I chatted with Jack Wells, who writes mystery guides, and these are great. They're I absolutely love one. And of course, Jack has written one for Edinburgh. So if you want to do, it's like an outside escape room kind of experience. It's a book, and you solve the clues, and you will find out lots of stuff in Edinburgh that you would not have known about if you didn't do one of Jack's books. And his one for Edinburgh is excellent. And so if you've done it or you're going to do it, let us know, because but brilliant. And you can order them. We have got a discount, 50% discount code. I will link to that in the show notes as well. Order it and get it delivered to your hotel, because that's what Deborah did last month. She had hers delivered to her hotel.
So good. You've done a few of his.
I love them.
You've done a few around the country, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's about 44 now, Jack has. Wow. But they're just brilliant. If you love kind of solving puzzles, if you want to discover a little bit more about the different places that you visit, then do a mystery guide.
That's a good idea.
And they're great for families.
They really are. I'll just hold back a bit about these narrow wynds and courts and closes.
Yeah.
Is how time consuming they can be. Don't think it's just a mile you're going to walk straight up. Bob down some of these little wynds and closes and have a look at the views and the buildings, and it is quite time consuming. I think we spent best part of a whole day once just doing the
easy
mile.
Yeah, easy. I mean, I don't know how many times I've walked up and down that Royal Mile, and I still will go and have a look at the different courts and closes and wynds.
Right. You find different things. I found some gardens last year.
Yes.
I mean, how many times I've been, I found these little gardens tucked away. You think, I didn't know they were there.
Exactly. So it's like there's so much to see and explore, and absolutely, give yourself some time to do that. Definitely. Don't just stick to the actual Royal Mile itself, because you'll miss out a lot. There's so many different places. Go down the Grass Market. I could talk for hours about all the different places you could go. Yeah. But absolutely, the Royal Mile. Definitely go. There's lots of nice accommodations as well. You can stay just off the Royal Mile. Yeah. So lovely part of the old city. It's the kind of essential spine of the old city. So number 3, I have to talk about, because I'm a bit passionate about visiting this place now.
I find this really interesting, because I did this 12 months ago. Yeah. And I told you all about it. You were a little bit fearful about doing it, weren't you?
Well, I get a little bit claustrophobic, so I do sometimes think, when it comes to doing something that I feel I may get a little bit panicky about, I don't tend to want to do. So I knew this was kind of going to be
so
underground.
You sent me as a guinea pig, didn't
I did. I sent you as a guinea pig to do it, because it's going to be. I knew it was going to be underground, so I just felt it would be a little bit. I might find it a little bit too much, but oh my goodness, I loved it.
Yeah, it is amazing. I loved the whole experience.
So basically what it is Mary King's Close was a close, like the other closes off the Royal Mile. It was basically buried when the city built over them. So it kind of was cut. Part of it was cut. It was built upon, and actually now you go down some stairs and you can actually go into Mary King's Close as it was when it was built on. So it's as it was in the 17th century. It's incredible.
It's a living museum.
It's incredible. Yeah, it really is. So the tour is like a bit of history, a bit of storytelling. The guides are really good because they do bring the stories of the different people who lived there. You learn about Mary King, for example, but just about what it was like to live in Edinburgh in the kind of 1500s, 1600s. Like just the plague or everyday life was like, and then of course there's the ghosts down there as well.
Yeah, there's also a ghost part to it. But I like the passion of the guys doing that. I think I came out and mentioned that to you. They were enthusiastic about what they were doing.
It's just an incredible place. I've never, ever been anywhere like that. Yeah. And you just feel like what it was like in the medieval time, Middle Ages, going up to, it was only the 17th century that it was kind of built on. So it is just incredible. In fact, some people lived down there until, I think it was 1900.
I think that's right.
Which is just unbelievable. Now, if you're going to go there, book in advance because it does sell out.
It's very popular.
It is suitable for most ages, but I would say that some of the passages are quite narrow, and it is pretty atmospheric. So if you're not, I didn't find the enclosed spaces to worry me too much, but maybe if you've got younger children, they may find it a little bit overwhelming.
They do give a good preparation before the tour begins as to how to deal with it, and if you want to leave, if you want to get out, how to do that.
How to do it, because you've got to stay with them, because you could easily get lost, absolutely easily. Yeah. So there are kind of rules you have to follow. You can't take photos and you can't video as well, which people tried to do when we're down there, which I found really disrespectful. And in fact, our guide just kept saying to these two women, he said, I'm going to keep mentioning it every time I see that you're recording. Which is just a really disrespectful thing to do. Yeah, sure. But absolutely, Mary King's Close, I regret not having done that before. So it even shows that even I'm discovering things after nearly 60 years of visiting Edinburgh.
Yeah, true.
So number 4, we'll talk about Holyrood House. Yep. So that's the official residence of the King when he's in Scotland, and it's at the bottom of the Royal Mile, and it's right at the foot of Arthur's Seat, which we're going to mention in the next point. Yeah. But you can actually go inside Holyrood House. The only thing I will say is that sometimes if the king's down there or the royal family is in residence, they will close it at the last minute, or something might happen and they end up closing.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what happened last month when actually I was there with Melissa, who was desperate to go and see Holyrood House, and she found out like the month before that it was shut because somebody important happened to need to go and stay there. But what you will see there is historic apartments of Mary Queen of Scots. So you can see the Great Gallery, the ruins of Holyrood Abbey.
That's right.
And also, I don't know if it's still there, but last time we were there was a dress that belonged to Queen Victoria when she was about 18. And I know she was tiny. She was tiny height-wise, but also she was tiny at that point because she did get rather large later in life. But she was tiny in her little waist. It's really like doll size. This dress as you go in, which was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Holyrood House is somewhere definitely worth going, but do check on the time of year whether it is open. It's really important to do that because
it's a good place to visit.
It is definitely worth going to. And also, I guess it would be good to combine with Arthur's Seat because it's very near it.
If you have plenty of energy.
Which brings us perfectly to number 5, which is a choice between Arthur's Seat or Calton Hill.
Yeah, or both.
Or you could do both. Now, if you want to get outside and you want to go up high and get the views over Edinburgh. So you've got 2 options here. So Arthur's Seat is the dramatic one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. You've got different ways up and down. But you need to be prepared and have a certain degree of fitness to do that. Obviously, you need thinking about your footwear and inclement weather.
Yeah, check the weather. That will be very important.
And take some drinks with you and snacks if need be. You get the serious walkers and then you got the strollers. I did it.
Were you a stroller?
And I strolled and I was puffing away by the time I got to the top. But it was definitely worth it. It really, really was. I've only done it once. I have to confess I've only ever done it once in all the years I've been visiting Edinburgh. But I'm so glad I did actually get to do it.
I will say I didn't do it.
No, you didn't.
I didn't do it. So I will actually just say, if you're not sure what Arthur's Seat is, it's basically an ancient volcano, which is looks over the city.
Yeah, steeped in mythology.
Yes, and it's very, very popular with people to walk.
It is.
To say, I haven't walked it.
Well, when I walked a little bit, it was like a League of Nations. There was people from every place on earth. I'm exaggerating, but there was so many languages being spoken. Everybody was so sociable. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did enjoy it, and you actually met me at Macca's Mashbar afterwards, which we'll talk about it when we get
What
later
could be
on.
better, having a haggis, nips and tatties waiting for me when I came down?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's another option, because I haven't, as I say, I haven't done Arthur's Seat. I'm not a big climber or walker or hiker. So, but Calton Hill is an easier option.
It's a bit more mellow, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get great views, honestly, for a fraction of the effort of climbing all the way up to Arthur's Seat.
There's still a few steps up there.
It is true, but it's a shorter walk from Princes Street, and from the top you get a great, but really the iconic view of Edinburgh, because you get the castle.
That is very true.
Because that's in the new town. So if you're at Calton Hill, you're in the new town. You get the view of the castle, the old town, the Firth of Forth. When you look one behind you,
that's right.
Looking up towards the castle, look behind you, and you got the Firth of Forth. You'll find the National Monument, which is a half-finished replica of the Parthenon. I won't go into the story around that, but it is quite interesting. Yep. But you could do both of those, or if you're not so keen on kind of the bit more of a strenuous climb, look at Calton Hill as a good option.
Right. You do need to allow quite a bit of time for Arthur's Seat, particularly to appreciate the views as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, number 6 is the National Museum of Scotland. Again, this is one that I have been wanting to do. I've been in before, but not to spend a long period of time in. So this was something we just did last weekend.
Yeah,
I said, you know what, we're going to go and have a good look inside the National Museum of Scotland. And that's what we did.
But it's worth noting, we've been trying to do this for quite a few visits, but we actually managed to do it because the weather was not very good. So it's a really good place to go if you happen to find yourself there and the weather is not, forecast is not great.
Exactly. So it actually fitted in really well. It was on my list to do this time. I really wanted to get in there and have a good look around. So we did. There's a lot to see.
Entry was free.
Entry is free, which is always a bonus.
Yep.
And it's a really beautiful building inside.
We did.
We actually had, I think we had 2 lunches. we had one break.
Actually. Yeah, we did.
We had 2 lunches in there. We walked around a bit, had lunch, walked around a bit more, had another lunch.
I had some tea and cake, obviously.
Of course you did. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's very popular. And also, we've just talked about views actually from Calton Hill and from Arthur's Seat, but you actually also get a really good view from the deck on top of the National Museum.
Which, in all honesty, I did not know was there.
Yeah, so that was really good as well.
That was a pleasant surprise,
we got some lovely photos. I'll put all these in the show notes.
Yeah.
There's lots of other museums in Edinburgh. The Scottish National Gallery, which I did drag you around.
I did. I'm not. Yeah, it's not my thing, to be truthful.
No, you're not a big fan of art. But anyway, we went around, had a look around at that. There's a Museum of Childhood. There's one that you mentioned about the Surgeons Museum as well. Yeah. So there are quite a few different museums in Edinburgh, but I think the National Museum of Scotland is probably the one that we hear about most. That people
considering how many other people were there, I think
popular. Very popular. Number 7, Greyfriars Kirkyard. Now, this is one of Edinburgh's most atmospheric, should I say, haunted spots, and one that a lot of visitors kind of walk past, I think, without realising it's there.
Yeah, its significance as well.
Yeah, now it's a historic churchyard just off the Royal Mile, and it's really beautiful and slightly eerie as well. You will find the grave of Greyfriars Bobby, which was the Skye Terrier, who supposedly, if you know the story, guarded his owner's grave for 14 years after his owner died, and he's actually buried in Greyfriars Kirkyard as well. You're going to find graves dating back to the 1500s and some really interesting architecture, and also it was
spooky. You mean architecture?
It's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit. It is like that, but I wouldn't want to wander around there at night, I have to tell you. I
don't wander around any graveyard at night, to be honest.
No, but definitely not that one. I know. It's also the time of Birkin hair when they were kind of digging up graves.
That's right,
so you'll
robbing.
see that a lot of the graves are kind of protected by cages or, very elaborate ways to stop
That's right.
people
Yep.
grave robbing. As I say, it's not somewhere I want to visit at night. We were actually talking to friends who live just outside Edinburgh the other day. We were talking about ghost tours, saying that we should do a ghost tour, and I'm too chicken. But there are some really good ghost tours around that will take you around grove fires and that.
I did a Vaults tour as well a few years back, and that was very connected with sort of spookiness. And
I didn't do that one either. I was a bit scared.
yeah, and that might have been a bit much for you because it was pitch black.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't fancy that. But definitely Greyfriars is one to add into your list to go and
Definitely.
check out. Right, we're going back to the Royal Mile actually with something called Camera Obscura, which I really want to mention because it's quite fun.
Yeah, we enjoyed that.
And it's been there since, it's not something that's just been there since, a couple of years ago. It's been there since 1850s.
That's right. I think you're right. It does get missed because it's so close to the castle.
Yeah. So when you go in, there's lots of kind of optical illusions and lots of fun things to look at. And then you go up to the top and you get it in your ticket. You get time to go and actually have a look through the camera obscura, which is basically a Victorian optical device that projects a live 360-degree image of the city onto a table.
Yeah, it is far better than you might expect.
Yes.
For something so old.
Yeah, it's just incredible that this sort of thing was built, and it was so that everybody could see around.
Right. On a clear day, obviously, you need to pick up the conditions, but yeah, it is actually really, really good. And you'd be surprised. You'd be pleasantly surprised if you go and visit.
I think it's fun. So you've got that, and there's 5 floors of different optical illusions, interactive exhibition.
Some of all ages. Some of all ages.
Exhibits and installations. I mean, it's great for families as well. I mean, we enjoyed it. We went.
Did. Yeah,
had a really good time. Again, you got another view from the terrace of Edinburgh as well.
And down the mile.
Yeah. Absolutely,
right.
yes. We did get great pictures down the Royal Mile there, so that was good. Number 9, we're going to turn our attention to food, drink, whiskey and afternoon tea.
What a combination.
Now, eating and drinking in Edinburgh, there's a lot to say, really.
Yeah.
Haggis. Let's talk about haggis.
Yes.
You should try it.
You should try it. We both love it.
We both love haggis, neeps and tatties. I particularly like haggis, neeps and tatties from one particular place in Edinburgh. Interestingly, I did a Rabbis tour yesterday, and our guide, as we were driving back, he was saying, these are my favourite places to eat in Edinburgh. And the first place he mentioned was Macca's Mash Bar.
Macca's Mash Bar.
I feel like we should have shares in Macca's
We've been
Mash Bar.
going there for years.
The amount of times we mentioned.
Yeah, we've recommended that to so many people.
And so many people have been. And honestly, if you go, I like the small portion of haggis, neeps and tatties, and it's got a really nice kind of whiskey sauce. It's just delicious. Do book a table there. They've got 2 restaurants. I think they've spread across now, so it's a bit bigger. But definitely go to Macca's Mash Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You will not regret it. And go and try haggis. Don't ask what's in it, just eat it.
Yeah, best not. Yeah.
Now about whiskey. Now, I don't drink whiskey and you don't drink. So
I used to drink whiskey, but I don't drink anymore at all.
Yeah, but if you are, and we know lots of you are fans of whiskey and are going to try some of the whiskey when you're in Scotland, the Scotch whiskey experience is the one that we've had a look at, and we believe it's a good introduction.
That's right.
And I particularly like it in the shop. There's like a wheel thing that tells you all the different types of whiskey and where you find them.
There's so many. It's about finding one for your palate.
And there's so many in there. There's so many different types to try.
Yeah.
So that might be something worth looking at. You can't go to Edinburgh without going to a pub.
This is true.
And there's some really good ones to choose from.
I'd also mention some live music there, but we're talking about...
just on the pub. Obviously, I mean, the one I really like, the Toolworth Tavern.
Yep.
Which is on the Royal Mile.
We've been going there a few years as well.
We have. And then in Newtown, I think Queen's Arms is the one that
we enjoyed that. There's a good vibe in there. That's right.
Now, there are some other places that I want to try. I've heard about a kind of gin bar and other things, but I haven't had a chance.
No.
So I'll have to go back to Edinburgh very soon.
There's nothing for it. We're going to have to go back again.
To try them.
Yep.
Now, what about afternoon teas?
Well, we are in agreement with this one.
We are.
Which is our favourites, yes.
Favourite afternoon tea in the whole of the UK
Yep.
is actually in Edinburgh, and it's at the Georgian Tea Rooms at the Dome.
Yep.
The Dome itself is amazing to go to and have a drink, so I should recommend going to the Dome. But if you want a fantastic afternoon tea, I highly recommend. We both love this.
Yeah, I'm going to stress that point. We've tried you especially tried more than me, but we've tried them up and down the country, and we were in total agreement which was our favourite.
Food, staff, environment, everything was absolutely fantastic. Now, this last trip, not with you, but when I was there last month with Melissa, I decided to try out, because it's been recommended, the Queen Charlotte tea rooms, the Orient Express experience. It was really good. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it as well. So I would say I would recommend it. I wouldn't say not to go. It was really, really good. So that's another one that I'd recommend. Also, we've actually afternoon tea at Edinburgh Castle. I know they do that, which is also good.
Is that the one where you tried some gins as well?
I did try a flight of gins. I did.
Oh, you did.
And another one we haven't tried, which I've heard good things about, is at Palm Court at the Balmoral.
Oh, yes.
But honestly, do yourself a favour. If you're going to have afternoon tea in Edinburgh, Georgian tea rooms at the Dome.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 10, experience, Royal Yacht Britannia. Oh, I absolutely loved this.
We really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we did.
We waited until the tram line was completed before we took the tram down to Leith. And, we did that. Was it last summer?
No, September 2024.
Yeah, it was a red hot day.
I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was actually end of September, and it was really warm. You got shorts on. I remember when you went.
Yeah, right.
Now it says it's just out of the city centre, so you take the tram down to the Oceanal Terminal in Leith, which is really easy to do. Doug has got a video about how to use a tram in Edinburgh. So if you're not sure, we'll link to the video in the show notes. Now the Britannia served the royal family for quite a number of years, I think about 44 years or so. Sailed over 1 million miles before it was decommissioned in 1997. There's a really good audio tour, which we did. I thought it was really good. And it was just, I think everybody there that were having a fantastic time. And again, you went and had some Victoria sponge cake, of course you did, in the cafe. It was very interesting, I have to say. It was one that I was going to think, I better go and do it, because we get asked about it all the time. But it was one that we both thoroughly enjoyed. Actually, if you're spending a few days in Edinburgh, Leith itself is actually worth exploring.
That's right.
There's lots of great restaurants down there, and a different feel.
It's an expanding area.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
different feel from being in the old town.
The Leith Walk is nice.
Yeah. So that might be worth considering, but definitely, again, book tickets for Royal Britannia. It does get very popular. So definitely worth doing that.
I will mention that I especially highlight the engine room there, which is really interesting.
Me not so much, but anyway.
Well, but it was.
Now, number 11 thing to do now. I know we're talking about things to do in Edinburgh, but one thing that you might want to consider, and especially if you're in Edinburgh for more than a couple of days, is to take a day trip out of Edinburgh. Now, we have got a few podcasts and articles where we talk about different day trips you can take from Edinburgh by train, and I will link to that. But also, if you don't feel like driving or taking a train out, or you actually want to take a guided trip, one thing I'd recommend is to take a day trip out with Rabbies.
Most definitely, yes.
Now we so let me just tell you who Rabbies are, just in case you don't know. They run small group tours from Edinburgh and all over the UK and Ireland and all over Europe as well. And they go from Edinburgh. So if you're in Edinburgh, you can go to all sorts of wonderful places like Loch Ness. You can go to the Highlands. You can go to Glencoe, St Andrews, Aliskye. They've got day trips and they've got multi-day tours as well. Guides are great. That you're in a small bus, no more than about 16 the maximum their coaches can take. So yesterday, because Doug and I like to go and have these experiences so we can share, Doug and I took different tours. I decided to go to the villages of Fife and St Andrews. And you went down to Northumberland.
Yeah, I went to the borders area between England and Scotland. And we also went to Edinburgh Castle, including the gardens and the Poison Garden. And then we went to Bamburgh for the castle area, castle grounds, and walked amongst the sand dunes. And then, it was fantastic. Also, we went to Kelso as well, the border town. We walked across the bridge. So we had photos taken on the Scotland side of the bridge and then the English side of the bridge, and obviously lots of cheering, and it was great fun. I have to say the guy that we had yesterday was absolutely amazing. It was more like a family outing than it was for.
Who was your guide?
No, it was Graham Larrick, and it was absolutely a sound chap.
Graham.
Graham was.
Oh, well, big shout out to Graham. Yeah. I had Alex B, who took us out to Fife. So we went to Anstruther or Einster. That's how it's pronounced by the locals, but it's spelled Anstruther. Then we went to St Andrews. Everybody on the bus was so excited because I think we're on a bus full of golf fans.
Of course.
The weather was beautiful, so I spent a couple of hours in St Andrews. I had a wander around, sat out in the ruins of the cathedral, and then we went to, if you're a fan of Outlander, we went to Falkland, which, if you see the very first episode of Outlander, is where Jamie is standing by the fountain and Claire looks out of the bedroom window in the hotel and sees for the very first time, because it's actually before she's gone back in time. Anyway, so if you want to do that, you could go and experience a bit of Outlander. They do have Outlander tours, which I'm going to do next time for sure. Yeah. But really good fun and a better way. I mean, a small group tours, it's just so much more personal experience than doing a big tour.
It was just so relaxed. I mean, we didn't have a full coach bus load, but it was, everybody got along, and it was really, really pleasant. And Graham was just so enthusiastic. He was always smiling, always talking to people, and it was just lovely. It was just
brilliant.
Lovely.
So it's good. So there you go. We've been on Rabbis Tours. We're going to recommend Rabbis Tours out of Edinburgh. They do also out of various other cities in the UK and in Ireland as well, different tours out. So I will link to the 2 tours that Doug and I took. There's some photographs as well I'll put in there, but obviously they say there's an Outlander tour they do as well, which I know is also very popular. We also have a promo code for Rabbis as well, which is 10% discount for our audience. So that's UKTP10. You'll have to use our link, which I will put in the show notes to be able to use that code to the 10% off. So I will put that in the show notes. So do check that out if you're going to do Rabbis tour to get 10% off. But highly recommended.
Most definitely, yes.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, the 12th thing, you haven't done.
No, I haven't.
And that is an Islander workshop experience. So that is basically where you go and make a bag. And that's something I did when we were in Edinburgh last year. So we did a house sit in Edinburgh last year and spent 6 weeks actually in Edinburgh. So I say we spent a lot of time in Edinburgh.
We spent a lot of time here, yes.
And I really wanted to do it. So basically make like a Harris tweed bag. You can make a backpack, which is on my list to make next time. But I've only just made the bag, the kind of small, kind of bigger than a clutch bag, sort of little day bag, I would call it, little handbag, purse if you're American. So I made that. You get to choose the different Harris tweed patterns that you can choose from, the different colours that are there. And so I think mine's kind of blues or greens. They have pinks. So different. When you go on the day, you get to choose from the different ones.
How long does it take you to make one?
It was about an hour and a half, I think.
Okay.
And you can choose different colour straps. You can use a different handle. And they teach you, they show you bit by bit how to put your bag all together. And I know I've heard people say, I've heard that they come apart. They don't. They actually give you the tools to keep everything tightened up, because obviously you've got to kind of fit it all together and you make it. So they give you the tools in a little bag to take away. So I just keep them in my bag, and my bag's fine, absolutely fine. I made it a year and a half ago, and it's absolutely fine. I really like it. It's a really, really popular thing to do. Again, this sells out. If you're going to book this, I have gotten a link. Please book through our affiliate link. It just supports our business and supports the podcast. So if you're going to do this, you want to do it, please use the link, which I'll put in the show notes, for the Islander workshop experience. But do book it ahead of time, because they do sell out. I really want to do the backpack next time.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more expensive,
isn't it?
Yeah, and a really great present to do. Like if you're going with somebody, and you can buy it for them as a present and go, and both of you could go and do it, or you can go make one for a friend, or you could make 2 and you take one back for your friend. You can buy lots of these bags all over Edinburgh, but you get to make this one yourself. So you get to choose.
I think I went eating cake that day.
I think you probably did. It's something different. It's just something different to do. And I just know how many, whenever I share this in the Facebook group, everybody goes crazy. Yeah, that's true. They absolutely love it. They're just like, I'm going to do that. Can't wait to do that. I'm going to book it. I will put pictures of my bag in the show notes as well.
Yeah, your bag looked very good.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. It was actually a really, really fun experience to do. So that's kind of the 12 things to do and experience in Edinburgh. Those are kind of our favourite ones we've talked about. I think we've covered a lot.
There's more things to do than 12.
Well, there are, but I think those are kind of the 12 favourite things that we've done, or things that have really stood out. And as I say, I mean, I've personally just done the Mary King's Close and went, wow, wish I'd done it before. So I didn't kind of want to miss out some of the things that I think we may have just come across or just kind of experienced and went, oh, why have we never done that before? So yeah, that I thought, hopefully that will help all of you guys listening out there with
some ideas and some inspiration.
Yeah. So as I say, I will link to all the different things we've mentioned. I will put our affiliate links, so there'll be a link for Rabbi's, there'll be a link to the Islander workshop experience, and any other links that we've talked about. Yeah. As I said, if you want help putting together your Edinburgh itinerary, or you want us to review it, or you want help with a wider Scotland or UK itinerary, remember we know all of the UK, so from not only London, not only Scotland, but all of England. We know Wales, we know Northern Ireland. We've travelled the entire length.
I have literally done all the railways.
So if Scotland's a small part of your trip, we can help you with the England part of your trip, or the London part of your trip, or the Wales part of your trip, or the Northern Ireland part of the trip. We can put the whole lot together.
We really can.
And we have, we've got partners throughout the UK as well that can recommend as well if you want to do private tours or you want to do small group tours. We will link to all of that so you can book. If we do not have a slot, because especially for our one-to-ones, sometimes we have very limited slots available for those. So if you look on the calendar, there's nothing that works, just get in touch with us by email as well, and we can sort something out. Now, I will also quickly mention that we have other episodes of the podcast which are focused about Edinburgh. So episode 201 is 12 things to know before your first trip to Edinburgh. Episode 58 is essential tips for first-time visitors. And we've got a general one for Scotland travel tips, 15 common mistakes and how to avoid them. So that's episode 169. Again, I'll link to those in the show notes. So anything else to share about Edinburgh, Doug?
No, I'll just point out that you probably do more walking than you realise.
Yeah, up more hills and more steps.
There's more steps than you actually realise in Edinburgh.
There are more steps and more hills. It is it can be quite tiring. Yeah. But it is still one of the best cities in the world to visit.
Most definitely.
So I think I would say just go. Just include it in your itinerary. And if you need some help with that, we'll
reach out and we can help you.
We'll help with that. Anyway, I think that's it for this week.
I think so.
And we'll be back next week with some more UK travel planning help, tips, resources, inspiration, and more chat from myself and Doug.
Most definitely.
But until then, let's just say
Happy UK travel planning.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. As always, show notes can be found at uktravelplanning.com. If you've enjoyed the show, why not leave us feedback via text or a review on your favourite podcast app? We love to hear from you, and you never know, you may receive a shout out in a future episode. But as always, that just leaves me to say, until next week, happy UK travel planning.